Hey everybody, it's Kevin from 3D Printed Props. In today's video, we are going to be starting a new cosplay, and it is going to be a fun one. It is from one of my new favorite horror movies, Thanksgiving. Now, if you're familiar with the channel, you know I am a huge horror movie fan. Take a look at this horror movie playlist. It'll pop up in one of these corners of different horror movie props, cosplays, and things I've done and or I'm working on. And this is a new one. It's going to be for Thanksgiving, the new-ish from last Thanksgiving, Eli Roth film, Thanksgiving. And yes, it's got flaws like every movie does. There's two that I'll talk about at some point in this video, but I loved it. Just because it's just a good old-fashioned, who's the killer, really inventive kills that Eli Roth is just known for and does an amazing job with. And I thought this would be a really fun cosplay because it lets me do two different things. I've got to research and buy stuff, and I've got to model and 3D print stuff. So on this side, we've got stuff we're going to be already 3D printed, but we're going to go ahead and have to finish and paint and do all that kind of fun stuff. And on this side, just another bit of the fun stuff that I love doing cosplay is doing the research. So we'll take a look at some of these things, and we'll take a look at some of these things. Okay, so the first thing, again, I start to do is research. I'm trying to find out what brands things are, and the really great thing is, of course, Google nowadays, and it'll lead you down some rabbit holes, and it brings you here and there. And I found someone who posted something about an auction that had happened or was going on at VIP auctions for all the Thanksgiving stuff. And I hit that, and it was one of the mother loads. Unfortunately, it was before I'd seen the movie, and it did ruin it for me. It did tell me who the killer was. So what are you going to do? Technically, I'm not joking around here. I knew who the killer was when I saw the movie, but that told me who it was. So that was a little bit of a bummer when you're doing research. So that was a treasure trove of information, which we'll look at in a second. But one of the best resources I had was the actual costume designer for the movie, Leslie Kavanaugh. I followed her on Instagram and on Twitter as it was, and I reached out to her on Instagram and said, hey, I'm doing a cosplay. I'm really curious. Could you let me know what these specific things, where did you source them from? Or are they custom or whatnot? And she put out a general post saying, I've gotten some questions about this from a few people working on cosplays, and I wanted to post this for everybody. Thanks for your interest. So how cool was that? She did not have to do that, and I really appreciated it. So with her information, the costume designer, and this other VIP auctions, I was able to pick up the stuff I picked up, which is the stuff that was used in the movie. Now, the one thing you don't see here yet is the hat. And that is the tricky one, because you can find really cheapy hats on Amazon. And as you can see here on the Amazon ones, the brim's too small, they just don't look right. So I actually was able to find out who did the hat from Leslie Kavanaugh, and that person was Tamara Rigby Funk. I could be saying that name totally wrong at the end, and probably am. Reached out to her, and she is making a hat for me. So the costume designer of the hat that was used in the movie ordered another buckle and ordered fabric, and is going to be making me a hat that is one of the coolest things I have ever gotten done. That someone who's directly involved with the film is actually doing something for me for this cosplay. I'm so excited, and I can't wait to see it. Okay, so let's go through some of the things I've picked up. And these aren't screen used, but these are the same pieces that were used to do the screen costume. So these are a Bates Men's Delta 8-inch tactical boot. They're really comfortable. So these will be a boot I can use in the winter because I live where it gets really cold. And they're pretty nice boots. Now, the problem with footwear when you're doing cosplay is always the same. they're always the most expensive part. These run anywhere between $140 and $150. I was able to luck out and get these on eBay for $90. So that was pretty cool. If you have smaller or larger sizes, it might be more difficult. I usually have a tricky size. These are 11s. And it seems like 10 and a half, 11, like 10 and a half, 11, they tend to be gone. But I was able to luck out and get an 11 in these. So they fit really, really well, and I am super happy that I got them. So these are the boots that, I almost said the killer's name, I don't want to ruin it for you, that the Pilgrim was wearing. So these are going to be really, really cool to be using. Now, the next thing, and I haven't even opened these yet, that I want to show are the gloves. And these are a calfskin, they're nice, a calfskin Raven X glove, unlined, and they're really neat because they've got like no sort of, they don't go up the wrist, they're sort of like cuff length. And these I found in a Canadian supply company that does like outdoor stuff. I can't take them off here right now because they are, for whatever reason, zip tied on, but they feel really, really nice. These things ran, I got to look this up, $40. So again, these would be a pair of gloves I can wear in the winter anyway, or at least the fall, because they are unlined. Nice thing about it is they're unlined, because when you're doing cosplay, it gets hot. So I'm really happy that these are actually unlined. So that is pretty neat. So that's the gloves that were worn by the killer. I looked everywhere on Amazon, you know, uncuffed gloves, this and that. I found things close that probably would have worked for maybe even a little less, but it's nice to know from the costume designer, these are the gloves. So that is very cool. The next thing up is a Gap t-shirt, just a straight black t-shirt from the Gap. Now this is where things vary a little bit. And again, these are like $10 on Amazon. Now, Leslie had said that this was a Denver Hayes men's fleece Crewneck sweatshirt. And on the on the VIP auctions site as well, they showed some sweatshirts, like long sleeve sweatshirts and sweatpants that would go under the overalls. Again, you know, I was like, okay, which one should I get? The VIP site showed both. It showed the Gap t-shirt and it showed the long sleeve. Leslie said the long sleeve. I went ahead and got the Gap one, even though, you know, again, it was on the VIP site saying it was screen worn. This is just a regular t-shirt, it's not screen worn. And I figured it's going to be hot under those things. It's hot, hot, hot when you're doing cosplay. So I went with a t-shirt and not a sweatshirt under those coveralls. That's what I would do if I were you. And last but not least, and then the next thing I've got are these great pair of red nap black coveralls, $40. And again, this is the ones that she said to use, and on the VIP auction site, they actually had the tag with the killer's name, and you could see the label, and there's the code, and you could actually look it right up. So these are the ones that were used. Now, these don't have any buttons, but if you look at the poster, you can see there are buttons on it. Now I need to look at this, you know, go through some screenshots again to see if that's in the movie or if it's just for the poster. If it is in the movie, then I actually modeled and I printed some buttons off that I'll sew into this. But I've seen the film now. I probably watched it about 5 or 6 times. I don't think I saw buttons on there, so I probably won't put them on, but I need to double check. So this is really cool. You can get these on Amazon. You can get them right on the Redknapp site. All the links are going to be below. The ones that are on Amazon are affiliate. The ones that go elsewhere aren't. Now this is a real fun part. This apron was only used in one scene, but I had to see if I could find it. So I did a reverse image search, and it didn't pop up. And then I just went on Amazon and I typed in Thanksgiving's Day apron, And there it was. I mean, it literally popped up. It was like the second thing on there. And this is what he wore when he was making dinner of someone. So this is super, super fun to have. When I do cosplay, you know, I'll probably walk around without it at one point and then put it on at another point. So this thing was super fun to find. Again, links will be below. Now, the two things that aren't here that are costume-wise, one is, of course, the hat that is coming, and I'll show that off when I get it. Two are the balaclavas. He is wearing a balaclava, the mask, and then the hat. I bought balaclavas. They are someplace in this basement, and I will not buy another one until I find those. And I got 3 for $10 on Amazon. But again, I will find them. They are somewhere, and I know I said to myself, I'm going to put these here so I don't forget. And I have forgotten. So hopefully they will come up at some point. I probably will have to buy another 3 or another 2, but what are you going to do? Okay, so now let's take a look at some of the 3D parts. And of course, the mask. The mask is super important. This is a mask of John Carver, a man of some renown in the Pilgrim community back in 1620s. And Eli Roth said, John Carver, that sounds like a slasher to me. And he went ahead and used that likeness and that character in a trailer for a movie called Thanksgiving in Tarantino's Grindhouse. And I had forgotten all about that. Now, yeah, I saw that movie literally when it came out in the theaters, and I had forgotten that that was in there. And I went back and rewatched it, and I've got a link in the description below. There is a bunch of stuff that's in this new Thanksgiving movie in that. The cheerleader on the trampoline, the mascot getting his head cut off, all that kind of stuff is in there in the short, which just cracked me up. So this mask here, I actually had this mask modeled. I'm not good with the facial stuff, more of the hard surface stuff. So one of my guys did this. You can get all of these parts on the site, 3D printed props. So the first one is, of course, John Carver with the unmelted mask. And I'll do both of these. And it came out really, really nice. I'm really happy with it. I'll put some elastic on it and a strap up top. We'll be going over all this when I work on these. And there's this one. Then, of course, there's the melted mask. The killer sets the mask down on a pizza oven, and it sort of melts and distorts. He wears it for a very short period of time, but I thought, I want to definitely have both of those, and they look really cool. So a couple of the other things I wanted to model. One is the meat tenderizer. He uses a meat tenderizer to kill some people, and it is a vicious looking meat tenderizer. So I printed this in multiple parts. So you can see that goes like this, and this piece is like here. And then I'll buy a wooden hammer handle, a sledgehammer handle, and actually feed it through there. This will make it con safe and not heavy to carry around. And the likelihood of me being able to find a replica of some medieval, 1620 version of a meat tenderizer is slim and none. So I thought I'll model it, and I'm super happy with this turned out. So I'll be carrying this around sometimes. I also made his axe, and that's in 2 parts as well. So there's John Carver's axe. And again, I buy an axe handle, or I might model it to cut down on the weight and to get the right shape to it. Because modern axe handles are just sort of straight down, and the one in the movie has almost like a sort of a curve to it. So I might go ahead and model that as well. This is just another test print right here. And I don't have the buttons in here, but like I said, I also did model some buttons to match the poster. Again, I don't know if I got to look at the film again. I don't think he's got buttons on the one that's there. So what will be next in this cosplay series will be probably me working on both of the masks. I'll just do one video doing both of those, sanding, painting, and finishing, and then doing the weapons. They should be relatively easy, but I've got a few tricks I want to try out to get those to look the way I want them to look. Costume-wise, waiting on the helmet. or waiting on the helmet. So used to it being a helmet, waiting on the hat. And then, of course, finding those balaclavas in this basement. I'm not going to spend another $10 on balaclavas that I don't need. They are here somewhere. So I'm gonna look for them. So then this thing will be complete, and then we'll work on doing, of course, the last video will be me wearing everything and, you know, walking around and doing something like that. Oh, the two problems I had with the movie, I said I was going to mention. And you can put down in the comments below any problems you had, or maybe you just hated the movie. I don't know. I liked it. Stephen King says something in a bunch of little documentary TV episodes that Eli Roth did. Stephen King says the best or the worst horror movie was the best movie I've ever seen. And that's kind of how I feel. Like, the worst pizza is still pizza. It's still pretty good. So I liked it. But the two problems I have with it, and here they are. And you might want to stop, because these are spoilers. So spoilers from here on, two problems I had with the movie. First one, and I'm sure it's on the cutting room floor somewhere, so maybe there'll be a director's cut. In the end, when they blow up that giant turkey and it explodes, why is it filled with anything explosive? I'm sure there's something where their tanks got switched that we don't know about, that we didn't see. But you wouldn't fill a big turkey like the air thing up with propane or something. So who did that? Or how is that tank even there? So that I had a problem with, but whatever. Two, this is very nitpicky. I told my son, he said, now you're just crazy. Patrick Dempsey is, one of the things he's mad about is that the woman who dies in the supermarket, who was married to the security guard or the worker in the supermarket or the Walmart type store, is pregnant with his child. Now that actress is like her late 50s. I don't think that's, I mean, I guess it's possible, but it seemed like a real weird thing to add in there for an actress of her age. But again, that's just me being picky. But I thought it kind of took me out of it for a second, because it didn't make any sense. Just have it be that she got killed. That'd be enough. But what are you going to do? So those two things, that's it. Other than that, super fun. I enjoyed it. And speaking of enjoyed it, if you enjoyed this video, please click like and subscribe. And hit the little bell, and you'll know when I'm going to do another one of these, which I am truly excited about. If you're wondering about some of the other cosplays I'm working on, like Judge Dredd, I'll have more of those videos coming up, along with more 3D printer reviews, more, of course, sanding and painting of stuff. I've got a bunch of helmets I'm working on, tons of videos coming, having a fun time. Summer hopefully is right around the corner. I can get outside and do a lot more painting, because it's still very, very cold here. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate it. Take it easy, and I will see you in the next one.